Hello, this is Mark Beech's review of 2018. I'm an author, editor of Dante, contributor to Forbes, co-editor of Art and Auction Modern Painters. I popped up on TV quite a lot to talk about culture. Here I am, for example, talking about Elvis's Presidential Medal of Freedom, and also on the death of the dance musician and producer Beech, amongst many others. 5 o'clock starts, therefore have not been too unusual, and I've had some interesting passes. There's one from the BBC World, for example, with some very early start times. Of the interviews I've done, then here I am with Grace and Perry at Frieze Art Fair, a very amusing piece and a great photograph, and with Gavin Turk in his studio in East London for a televised piece which goes out next year. I also did some filming of Gavin using his psychedelic bike to do art at the art car boot sale, like the piece you see there. At the Groucho Club, that's Ren Harview, an artist definitely worthwhile watching. I'll be writing more on her, and Romeo Stella to the Magic Numbers, who wrote about the Magic Numbers comeback album this year, and very strong it is too. At the Ronnie Scott's, that's Leland Sklar, a wonderful bassist who's worked with just about everybody, and Kimberly Walsh, talking to her at the Crazy Cox, where she did her first ever solo gig covering the Carpenters and various other things. Also this year I was at Soho House talking to Daniel Denise about her film about female classical composers, neglected ones, and a contemporary composer definitely worthwhile hearing is Judith Owen. There she is doing a gig at her home, which resulted in a nice piece. Here we have Julia Fordham, Beverly Craven and Julie Zook at the St George's Hotel, and of course Wolf Alice, who won the Mercury Prize, great friends of mine. Now this next picture is Nia Wynn, who's at L'Escargot, who I interviewed for a number of publications, and of course the Beatles producer Charles Martin talking at BBC Made Available about the new White album. Then Aled Jones and Russell Watson at the Arts Club, and Helena Bedwell, an old friend of mine, now author. I think that's actually at the Devonshire. Devonshire pops up a few times, if I remember. This is Andrew Lloyd Webber at his birthday party with Nicole Scherzinger, who did a wonderful version of Memory, which I put on YouTube and is certainly worthwhile hearing. Me at Abbey Road, got a private tour around there for a piece that's going out next year on Forbes. Very interesting. Got to play even the piano, which had been used by Paul McCartney, which he used to do Lady Madonna, which is still in Studio One. A smile of recognition there from Kevin Rowland, who was doing a DJ set when I turned up. Haven't seen him in quite a bit. Of these various magazines, that's Blue in Art and Auction. It's one of the ones I co-edit and also write the occasional piece for. And apart from that, then I also do some of the editing as well on Modern Painters and Blue in Shop, the various magazines in the Blue in stable, which I've been doing for a little while alongside my job editing Dante magazine. These are all print publications. Yes, print does still manage to exist, although many of them do have a counterpart with stuff that goes out online as well. Fine magazines, all of them, which have been rescued and turned around in the Blue in stable here to make them better than before. Just putting in here, just for out of interest, one of the contributors pages, which gives me a mention, which is rather nice, with a little bio there, which is good. It's something I've quite aspired to for some time. It's nice to have that. I've also done things for Bonham's magazine. There's an On the Block column which appears monthly in Art and Auction. I took that over from Judd Tully. Two of my friends, this is Maggie Hamlin, and in purple is Christina Smith. I'm writing Christina Smith's biography at the moment, and one of Maggie's pictures of Donald Trump, which I think is rather extraordinary. Lots of writing on art in the year. This is obviously the wonderful Hockney, which made him the most expensive living artist. That's in Davenport, who I did a piece along with Mark Pickett for various publications, and George Baselitz, this is one of the series of upside down works. He had its row pack back to frieze, just for one of many shots of frieze that resulted in quite a few articles at the time. Chris Duffy, the son of Brian Duffy, I interviewed again for a nice spread which went out in Dante and Apostolina, a friend of mine who is also a great artist, and that she is, with a show that she had at Hampstead. Of the many Dantes that went out, then here's some of the ones we've had down the years. We're now looking to see what happens with the future of Dante, but that's how it's been looking for me so far. Some great articles, some of the best things I think I've probably done in my career. That's one that's film and violence, or not, as the case may be, cover pictures. That was the Christmas one from a little while back. Then we were playing around with the designs on this one, which finally resulted in the issue, which is the Rise of Robots issue. You can see how it looked by the time we'd put it together. And then the art issue, which came out a little bit later. That's a really quite striking cover. So we're still doing things with Dante. That's a list of the contributors, including me and some of the others that I've brought along, and with the partner as well, Massimo, in it. That's one of the editor's letters with a picture not very far from my farm, actually, in Gloucestershire. That is Mark Bryans with one of the articles, a good friend of mine from the Garricks, who writes about cartoons, and another good friend of mine is Alice, who's a travel editor, and there she is with a piece on Egypt. Plenty of stuff on Forbes. Some of the things have been extremely well hit, such as Eminem, which got 500,000 hits. I was asked to do a piece for the BBC at one stage on best albums. Those are some of the more obvious choices I had, and here are some of the less obvious ones that went into this piece. It was quite an interesting thing to compile. I remain into my wine and a wine buff. This was at the Oxford and Cambridge. It was a wine tasting I went to a while ago, and that's a shot from when I was a VIP guest earlier on in the year at the Art Society at the Westminster Cathedral. Plenty of reviews done for Art Info. It looks like I'm going to sleep in that one, but there was Lieutenant of Inishmore, which was very good. Swan Lake at the E&O was a fascinating performance. This one was great. It's a picture I took just before it started at 12th Night with the new artistic director of the Young Vic and Imperium, which was an epic which lasted for about 6 hours and 2 bits. Many meals during the year. This is a pulo pot with the snails, which are almost as good as escargot. I love the curry at a number of places, but that one's Trishna, which I'm a great fan. That's a rather moody shot from Galvin at Windows, wonderful Michelin quality restaurant. And even finer perhaps is, well, I think definitely is the Ledbury. That's one of the shots of Brad Graham's food. Valentine's, that's at Rules in Covent Garden, and many of the Ivy restaurants and sister restaurants visited during the year. So it's always good to go back to those. That's a shot just out of the window at the Oxo Tower, which I hadn't been to in many years. It's good to go back to. Fallon and Burn in Dublin, which was nice to visit. Classic car rally. I usually go on one or two of these. This one's the East Anglian one, with my 944 just visible. That's some of the Bristols, and I can't remember. I think it's a Jaguar, might be that one. Someone will correct me, I'm sure, if I'm wrong. Poli came along too, little mascot sitting on top of my 944. Oh, that's one of my other cars. That's a 968. A great joy having these cars. And there's another 968. I'm forever changing these cars around, so you know, that's just next year be a different picture. Unseasonal, very hot summer in the UK, and very cold winter. This was actually in March, unbelievably, of the farm, to see what it looked like then. It was very deep snow indeed, and that was my Christmas card for this year, based on an earlier shot when it wasn't quite so snowy, and because it's a great joy to me, I thought I'd include a picture of Bluebell Wood, which is always nice, and that's a shot of the farm from the lower lake from a distance. So it's all my land, as it were, and the beekeeper is Barry, who looks after the hives at the farm. Usually get quite a bit of nice honey. A great joy to me. I was selected as a member of the Garrick in this last year, and there I am wearing my tie. I also visited quite a few other clubs. That's the Oriental Club I went to during the club closure. Got into that, and that's the Reform Club as well. So some friends went, and I went on a club crawl one day where we went round a fair few. I'm moving on from Pimlico after many years in the course of this year. A few shots here of Pimlico flower basket, the cubist stucco look of the place, which I will miss, but I won't. There's more interesting places perhaps in the world. That's a shot of Lupus Street, which I was quite pleased with. And one on the other side of the river, Battersea Power Station, which is still being done up and renovated. Me in a temporary office that I was set up while I started to get to work on Christina's book, and that's Notting Hill Carnival. Lots of shows here just to show what I've been doing. A shot of me of Bono that was done during the show that he did at the in Dublin. Sorry, that's Adamant at the Roundhouse quite recently. A couple of stylized ones I did of Florence and the Machine. That was at the O2. Quite a bit of fun. Must say she was in very good form for that concert. And actually another one that's of a band at the Devonshire Club during the summer, where they had a summer party for members. A Londinium classical choir I much enjoy. I threw this in just for a laugh just towards the end. That's me as a kid, my first day at school, taken yesterday obviously, and some of my own pictures. That's one of Craith's Castle in Scotland, as a sketch I did quite a long time ago. A painting, yes, this is a painting, although it is based on a photograph of the Workman Guns in Evesham. To give you some idea of the scale of it, there's me alongside it. You see it's quite a big picture. I do even larger ones sometimes, such as that one, which is a Donington Green picture using the swirls and things. Doesn't quite capture it, but you can see it's a large picture. I happened to find two of my old sketches, which in 1980 at Ruskin at College at Oxford. There's one, there's another. Those were literally dashed off in a minute or something, but I thought they were quite nice, so I put them up here. The Oldie Literary Lunch with Andrew Roberts, the author, and Barry Cryer, amongst others. Me after one of the Garrick do's. Here we are, just to see my actor mate Nick Bailey and others. Ted celebrating Christmas. Ted, the amazing bear, who has to be in it as the brains of the operation. Some of our bottles to celebrate Christmas and New Year. There's a stylized one of Ted saying Happy New Year to everyone. So there we go. I did this partly because a friend sent me this saying nobody cares about your year in Facebook or anywhere else. I'm hoping that this YouTube gets lots of hits to prove her wrong, and so she can look less and serious. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for listening everybody, and happy 2019. See you next year.